Good evening, everybody. We are at the Newfane Select Board meeting, our regular meeting. It is Monday, October 19th, 6 p.m., and we are meeting on Zoom. And we have Mike Fitzpatrick, Angela Sanborn, Shelley Huber, and myself, Marion Dowling, as members of the Select Board present tonight. We have Winetta Powling, Administrative Assistant to the Select Board, Jay Wilson, Road Foreman, and we have some guests that we will meet later on. So welcome, everybody. And the first thing we're going to do is to see if anybody has an amendment or an addition to the agenda. Okay, nobody does, so we move on to the approval of the minutes. The first set of minutes are October 5th. Is there anybody who can make a motion to accept the minutes, please? Angela? Second? Mike? Okay, any discussion about the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Shelley, are you mute?
Aye.
Okay, and Mike. Okay, the ayes have it, and we move on to approving the October 13th budget meeting.
I make a motion to accept.
Thank you. Second, please. You'll second it? Okay, any conversation about that? All those in favor of accepting the budget meeting minutes, please say aye.
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 Mike? Aye, okay. Okay, those minutes have passed. So, road business, road foreman, Jay Wilson. Good evening, Jay. And could you please give us your report for the evening?
Sure. So the topsoil pile at the garage has generated a little interest at $12 a yard or so. Is that something you're interested in selling? We talked about it last year, and I've been kind of trying to get somebody interested in it. I've had it off for $5 a yard, which I didn't think was enough. And then now it seems like $12 seems to be generated a little interest, at least part of the pile. Does that seem like something you want to sell?
And it's not anything that we need?
No.
It's just a pile of dirt or stuff.
It was from when they built the building. It was piled up, and it's been there for a long time.
Sounds
Are
good.
you opening that up to the public?
We can. It needs to be somebody that can take, a reasonable amount of it. I don't want to have people coming in taking one truckload at a time.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
just to make it easier.
So how do you propose on putting that information out?
I've been
meeting?
telling contractors that we have topsoil and see if anybody's had any interest.
You
Okay.
can get $12 a yard for it, I'd sell it.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That was my feeling, but I just figured I'd run it by you guys and see what you thought.
Okay.
The undercoating of the town vehicles was completed today. The Depot Road box culvert, we're making progress on one of the easements. We've still got a hold up with the bank on the other side of the road. The road safety audit draft report for Newfane Village was sent out today. There's a couple of changes to make before they send out the final audit. And they also should probably include, Wyndham Regional is going to be doing updated speed counts. And they really should include the updated, in case the amount of traffic is increased or anything since those last ones were done. They'll be doing those in the next week or so, I think is what he said. They'll be putting the tapes across the road. The sand salt shed update, the easement letter has been sent to the town attorney for him to complete. And the gravel crushing in the South Newfane yard has been completed, and we've been putting that on the roads in South Newfane.
Okay. Thank you for your report. Is there a motion to accept the report?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion about what Jay had to say?
The only thing I'd say, like on that stockpile, I mean, if they want it for $12 a yard, we want them to take it all and get it out of there. That way, don't come in today and get a load and then another week or 2 weeks later,
It may be a couple different people. I don't know if one person will take all of it yet or not. I haven't quite, but I thought that was a reasonable amount to pay for at least, so.
Oh, yeah, that's plenty, because, I mean,
Yeah.
they gotta still screen it.
Yep.
So that's what I say, I think the best thing is gonna unload it, let's unload it and get it out of the way. That way they're not in and out of the yard and,
Right.
because, I mean, who's ever in there probably should have to make
I
sure
can't
they
even
get
hear
their
you.
insurance for the town too, right?
What's that?
Whoever comes and get it would have to supply a certificate to the town for insurance.
Probably should, yeah.
Also, but the sooner can leave, the better, I guess,
Meeting, question mark?
1 second, please. Why can't we see everybody at once?
Because they're not talking right now, so they're muted on BCTV.
Yeah, you could be.
They're muted and they don't have their camera on at the moment. So when they're ready to speak, they will have their cameras on.
Okay, Angela, thank you. Hi, Aaron. Good to see you. Okay, so can we have a vote for accepting Jay's report, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Good. So the report is accepted, and thank you, Jay, as always, for the work you do. Next on the agenda is the Administrative Assistance Report.
You'll have to mute. So there's no back talk. So you go here. And this is gonna mute you. Okay. We've had a number of dog calls the past few weeks with an amount of time involved. The board recommended I contact neighboring towns to inquire if they would be willing to share their animal control officer with Newfane. I mailed out 6 letters on Friday. I learned today that Windham County Sheriff's Department may hire a regional animal control officer to help cover these vacancies. I will let the select board know when I have more information.
Okay.
We have a great response to the data entry ad. Our advertisements indicated today is the deadline for submitting your resume. I want to thank everyone who took the time to submit a letter and resume. The select board and the listers will be reviewing and interviewing. We hope to announce a selection to the public at the November 2nd select board meeting. We received the financial audit report from Sullivan Powers today. The reports are in your mailboxes. And this report will also be included as part of the town report. The monitor, webcam, and wall mounting brackets have been ordered and they will be here this week. This will be a benefit to the select board to hold virtual meetings here at town office. This will be beneficial for those seeking appropriations to attend via Zoom. It will also allow us to do more training and webinar from VLCT and the state of Vermont. From Montpelier, the Vermont Department of Labor announced Thursday, October 1st, an increase to the state's minimum wage, which will begin on January 1st. The state's minimum wage will increase 79 cents to $11.75 an hour. And the 54 cannabis sale to become law on October 7th. It's been in the work for years now, and the bill is passed. A tax and regulation system for recreational cannabis in Vermont. They will look at how the law will work, the timeline for retail sales, and some ongoing questions about whether the law adequately addresses social justice issues. And that's it.
Juanetta,
Yes.
on the marijuana sales,
Yes.
does that become law like in 2021?
2 years.
It became a law today, but they haven't sent out all of the regulations on how we're going to control it.
From what? Can I unmute?
Mhm. The bottom screen.
Unmuted? My understanding is that it will take 2 years before the law is enacted when it actually becomes available to the public.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Any other comments or questions for Juanetta on her administrative assistance report? Is there a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept the report.
Okay, Mike made a motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
okay. No more comments? Thank you, Juanetta, for your report. And we appreciate the work you do as always. And that's it. So right now, we are moving to the part of the meeting where there are selected members of the public. And tonight we have 3 individuals who are here to request appropriations for their organizations. So the first person is Sarah Lang. Is she here? For BDC.
Hi, no, hello, good evening. My name is Adam Grinold. I'm the Executive Director of the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation, here representing SEVWA along with Alex Beck.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, but I don't see you on the screen.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, I'll try to do it.
Oh, Alex.
Coming live.
There you are, thank you.
I'm here, and also Adam is here, but I
Okay,
believe
great.
he's in a car, so.
Okay, thank you.
It's senior night for girls soccer, so thank you for accommodating this.
Okay,
So it's a pleasure to be here tonight. We of course submitted some information that you had asked for and are happy to use the time to just answer questions, or if you'd like to hear from us in general, we of course could share more.
I think it would be great if you could give us some general information. I know that your organization has come to our Newfane meetings in the past each year, and we would like to know how things have been going this past year and what's new or anything, and also how is the town of Newfane and the residents being served with your organization?
Great. Yeah, Alex, do you want to do a bit of just the overview of the information we presented, and then I can answer any questions?
Absolutely. So I think you folks are really familiar with me talking about our high school programs at Leland and Gray. But if you'll recall, in March, when spring, when COVID happened, all the schools shut down. So what we've been doing lately is providing some of that direct business support for folks who have been navigating the variety of different aid and federal and state support programs for small businesses. So we know that that there are 16 businesses in Newfane that got PPP loans. We don't know, we can't say exactly how many of those we work directly with. But we do know that Windham County had an overrepresentation of their businesses access these funds. And so we know that we spoke with a handful of different businesses. I think some of them are mentioned specifically in that packet. You know, the Better Wheelworks and some other organizations. But we had hundreds of businesses calling when COVID first hit. What is the PPP? What is the EIDL? And that's what we really focused on, you know, pretty much immediately after town meeting day of last year. So we've been doing a lot of that. We have restarted our high school career programs. They're all virtual, but we're still doing that resume support and some of those. We're filming tours of employers now. We can't bring students to businesses because that's an issue that we're facing. So we're filming the tours and we're bringing the students that information that way. But I would say that the majority of our work has been focused on supporting small businesses directly.
Yeah, Alex, I'll jump in there. You know, the PPP, we don't necessarily do this for businesses. Business do this on their own. We provided dozens of webinars on how to apply to those and how to think through that. And in Newfane, there was over almost $500,000 earned for small grants for those businesses, and a couple of $350,000 to $1 million grants, or they're forgivable loans. And then of those, there was 18 businesses with 63 jobs just in Newfane alone. So this is a program that was widely accessed, and we know, without being able to speak to the specific businesses, of course, which ones we did assist.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It really is amazing what you've done.
You guys have done a really great job. And the numbers in Newfane have really increased. Really impressed with the high school program. I like the fact that you've innovated and created tours of workplaces, and maybe, you know, perhaps you'll be doing some apprenticeships, you know, online with the students, interfacing with businesses, because that seems to be the movement we're facing in today's business world. So kudos to you.
Yeah, we have an internship program that was always required college credit within the last 6 months, but we are working with the Department of Labor to adjust that criteria so that folks who aren't actively enrolled could also be applying for some of these internships. Another program which, you know, we really take the opportunity just to share with folks here and any audience members is the Vermont State College System has announced some tuition for students or for anyone, for Vermonters whose job has been impacted in some way by COVID. And there's some pretty loose parameters for that, so that most people can fit into it and be able to upskill and get some new credentials to either further their existing career or sidestep into a new one. So it's a great opportunity.
Yes, and that means it's not just for kids, it's for anyone wanting to start a business or develop their business. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us?
Well, one of the things we mentioned in our report is just having some of our weekly calls, or now bi-weekly calls. And if anyone in the community, we have every other week we have a business and entrepreneurship call, webinar where folks can learn about some of the different state funding programs, federal funding programs, and just business networking. Those are all available on our website to link to and find out about those schedules. And then we also have municipal support under the Southern Vermont Economy Project, which we're also offering, and have had great engagement with municipalities across the region, and really just learning how to better connect. Maybe it's a grant writing exercise, maybe it's a project management But we really find the communities and municipalities and various board members to be having a good benefit from attending those. So we welcome any and all.
Thank you very much. And
Well, I just wanted to mention that they're asking for $5,178. It's $3 per person in the town of Newfane, and for their appropriation from the town of Newfane.
okay. I'm sorry, can you repeat that? It's 5,000 what, Shelley?
$5,178, and that's $3 per person
$3 per person?
for the town of Newfane. Yes,
Okay.
that's per resident. You know, $3 per resident
Yeah.
assessment.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you a question since I was not on the board last year. I missed last year. Are we making motions to approve the amount of money, or we do that at our budget meeting?
I think that's a question for Juanetta.
I think we do it at the budget meeting.
We're doing it at the budget meeting. Okay. Well, then we have the figure, and we thank you so much for coming and taking the time to be with us tonight. And as everybody else has said, it sounds like you're doing an incredible service to many, many residents in Newfane and beyond. So thank you for
Great.
coming.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for everything you do. Thanks for having us.
Thanks
You're
so much, everyone.
welcome. Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Alex. Thank you, Boomer.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was great. So the next person on the list is Chris White. And Chris is here?
Yes, I am.
Yes, hi,
Hi.
welcome. And as we just did with the previous two gentlemen, could you please talk a little bit about your organization and what you do in general and how you serve people and residents in Newfane in particular?
I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you.
I left packets today at the office, which I know you don't have in front of you.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Okay,
Netta gave it to me.
great.
I have it right here.
They include our formal request for the same amount that we've been getting for years and years of $650, which amounts to 33 cents, I believe, per resident. We are a small nonprofit group focused on water quality. Throughout the southeastern Vermont watersheds, we test the waters. This year, we only tested for E. coli because that was all, with the social distancing and all the problems of COVID, we felt like it was important for people to know that the water was safe or it wasn't safe.
Mhm.
Hopefully next year with the new lab online and COVID behind us, we'll be back to testing for the 5 parameters, which we have done for years and years and years. We like to remind when we're asking for support that everybody in the town benefits. It's not just a small subgroup of the community. Everybody benefits from knowing that their water's in good shape. We test above the town of Newfane to make sure the water coming to Newfane is fine, and if it isn't, we try to find the source and work with the Agency of Natural Resources to correct the problem. And we test below Newfane to make sure there are no problems coming out of Newfane. And of course, we also test within the community. We have the only costs that we have other than laboratory fees are for a part-time summer person who coordinates and takes all the samples, which have to be done scientifically. They have to be kept on ice. They have to be transported within a certain amount of hours. So we do have a small budget for that, and Connecticut River Conservancy works with us. They keep that person under their umbrella, so we don't have to worry about insurances and things like that. We report the results to local media. We try to post it around the community, and report it to the town health officers. The whole, the economy, the health, the physical, emotional, mental, recreational health of the community is in some way dependent on clean recreational water. And that's where we focus our efforts. In your packet, there is also the results of this year's testing. And there's a fact sheet because they're 5 minutes and on Zoom, it's a little hard to cover everything. So it's all in your packets, and I would like for you to ask any questions that you have.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think there was in the past reports in the Reformer either every week or every other week about the water quality in the different swimming areas in the summer. Do you still report that in a newspaper, or where would we find the reports?
The best place to find it is to go to the Connecticut River Conservancy website, where they report all the rivers and all the swimming holes and all the testing locations. They're the most up to date. We do give it to the Reformer, we do give it to the Commons, we do give it to the Chester paper, but they don't always put them in because it's a free service. So if they have room, they put them in. If they don't, they don't. You can always go to Southeastern Vermont Watershed Alliance Facebook page. It's always posted on there as well.
Thank you for that, because I do look for it on a regular basis in the summer. And
a lot of people do.
Yeah. Thanks so much for participating and making sure we do have clean water. It is so important.
It really is, and it's like one of those things that you do that most people don't know about unless there's a problem. We just quietly go to the river 6 times a summer and take all our tubes, and we take water temperature, we check for garbage, we look for invasive species, we look for signs of animals, where there's a whole list of things that we monitor those sites for.
I have a technical question. I've always been told that if it has rained, you know, let's say a good amount of rain on a day, I've always been told that it is not advisable to swim in a body of water for a day or two after that. Is that correct?
That's what we tell people, because that's when the runoff is most concentrated.
Yeah.
Especially if it's been very dry.
Right. Okay, great.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, thank you. Any comments or questions from our guests or select board members, please?
I'm all set.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
we thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will take your work seriously when we discuss our budget.
I hope so.
Yes, we will. We will.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you, Chris, and have a good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So now we have Dan Dewalt.
Hi.
Where
Good
are
evening,
you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you, Dan.
No, I have no camera, so you just have to see my name somewhere.
You have no camera that you're looking into?
Correct. So
Oh, you're on a
you see my
phone.
name.
You on a phone, Dan?
I'm on the phone, and then my name's up there so I can see the meeting, but all you get to see is my name.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
But good evening, everyone. Thanks.
Well,
Go ahead.
as with everybody else tonight, it would be great if you could give some background to the work you're doing with the justice project that you're in, Restorative Justice, and
Yes,
also how you work with Newfane population.
Yes. So we are Restorative Community Justice of Southern Vermont. And our mission and what we do is we train people in conflict resolution using restorative practices and nonviolent communication practices. And we offer free, and that's, all those trainings are for free, and we offer free conflict resolution for anyone who is in conflict. So that might be within a family, it's been with businesses, with people from different places, within an organization, wherever conflict might arise. And we've been lucky and to living in, well, I'm in Newfane, and so we're sort of centered here. And we've partnered with the schoolhouse in South Newfane and the Newfane Church with Rob Ham and with the More Free Library in a variety of ways. So we've been giving trainings. We did for a long time in South Newfane, and now we've moved them to More Free Library, except then we moved them into the internet world. But we did have an event recently at More Free. So they have been a really great partner of us, and we are excited about continuing that relationship and working together with them. And so we've been drawing quite a few Newfane folks to our trainings, and we had a presentation of Dawnland, which is a film about child welfare systems in Maine to Indigenous people, which was pretty eye-opening and provoked a lot of deep discussion. And I was gratified that not only do we have people from different areas, but quite a few Newfane folks there also. And then with your and other support this spring, when everything sort of, we had a whole bunch of training scheduled for the library, and we had just gotten going with 2 had happened, and then COVID came and everything shut down. And then we reorganized ourselves, and we found 2 really dynamic college graduates who we could hire. We took a plunge and hired 2, both part-time, but to contract out with, and we got 2, and when we were planning to get 1 because we couldn't turn them down. And so now they have been organized, and at this point we are doing weekly Zoom trainings and occasional, I think we might have done our last outside training for the year, which are heavily advertised in this area. And so we have been getting a nice selection of local people for each of these trainings, as well as people from as far as California and, you know, random places far out in the ether. So that's what we do, and sort of where we, it's been great that we've actually been able to take some foundation money of a foundation which is giving us support and town money and other monies that people have been able to give us, and turn it into something which is growing and getting more people, especially now, I'll tell you, with all the tension in the air, people seem very gratified to have a chance to learn about nonviolent ways of communicating with each other and ways to calm violent situations and ways to resolve conflict. So I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
Dan, I see your website address at the bottom of your letter. If any individual or group wants to get in touch with you because they would be interested in participating or being trained, is that where they would go to?
What's it say?
It says
look it up.
capital RSCSBT.org.
Yes, I wasn't sure which type of address. Yes, that's
And
our.
Yeah, all those letters are capitalized. I'll repeat it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that matters if they're capitalized or not, but that's what it is, rcjsvt.org.
Okay.
And if you want to email, it's that at gmail.com.
Oh, okay.
And if you go to the rcjsvt.org, that's our website. And I'm sure you can contact us on the website too.
Okay.
There's a thing that says contact. And
Marion?
Yes.
So I have a couple questions. So,
Sure.
how do you affect the residents here in the town of Newfane with this? And there's another question, but you can answer that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, we affect by having had a slew of Newfane residents take our trainings. And we had a group of teachers from all who lived right in, not all, but several who lived right in this area, who all taught at the same school, and they were very excited. They took a series of trainings with one of our new people this summer, and they're going to institute and work with her down in their school a whole way of teaching their kids, and they're very excited about that. So that's one nice concrete thing that came out of it. And we have people in Newfane and surrounding towns taking these workshops and learning how to do this practice. And as we slowly we have maybe 4 or 5 different people now who have actually done this work for quite a long time and are prepared, and a couple who have already done conflict resolution circles. So anyone in the town of Newfane, you know, including the select board, could use us to help have a restorative resolution to a conflict. And
So
we do that free of charge.
I'm sorry, what is the work that you do? What would you say in a couple of sentences? What is the practice that you're referring to?
Well, restorative practice takes the person who is typically seen as the offender and the person who is the victim, and you take each of those people and you give them a chance on their own individually with the person doing the preparatory work to explain fully their experience on whatever this incident is that happened. And that includes what they were feeling, and it's actually quite important to include what they were feeling, what their body was feeling, just like the whole experience of themselves. And you ask the same questions to the person that did the act and the person that was acted upon. And then when you bring people together, and then you ask them the same series of questions, and they all get to tell their story completely. Now, that doesn't change any of the actions that happen between them, but it changes the understanding of the people who were affected, and then when they hear the other person's story. Having heard that, then our role is simply in facilitation. You ask people what they need from each other if they were going to be able to get along, and they ask each other for things that they think they would need. And it doesn't work all the time, but it works a lot of it. It's quite it's a really good practice, and it works. And when people understand how it works, they can perpetuate that in their kitchens and their living rooms and boardrooms. So, excuse me, that's a little longer than a nutshell. So that was a couple, 3 nutshells worth.
And
Dan,
okay.
Can I add something?
Yep.
Dan?
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm involved or have been involved for many years with diversion and also doing restorative justice in Brattleboro. And so I'd like to say to Shelley, in what you were asking, that I'm sure you do this, Dan, that you are creating a safe environment for the people who are there, and what is said is kept confidential. And also the group and the people who are leading it and other people, you try to make sure not to be judgmental, but just to be very supportive with the people. Is that correct, Dan?
Yeah, yes, there's no judgment. There's no guidance really on it's. You can have arbitration or mediation, or you can have restorative just practice, I would say, and that's simply you're reflecting back to people what they say to each other and making sure they understand each other, and you're asking them what they need, and they say what they need. So you don't enter into it. Your opinions would be a hindrance in all ways. So, and yeah, it's a completely confidential thing, and and we work in coalition with. In fact, one of our missions is to make sure there aren't silos between different organizations. So, like the Justice Center where you do your work, Marion, we have a coalition that we initiated with them and the Greater Falls Justice Agency and youth services, I think it is, and a couple other local practitioners. So we are building a core of volunteers that can make ourselves useful, because conflict so far doesn't seem to be going away.
I have, so one other question is, I don't see how much you're asking for the operation.
The last 2 or 3 years, the town has given us $1,000, and we would love to have the same $1,000 again, please. And I apologize if I didn't write that in there.
Yeah, I don't see it, maybe, but.
Yeah, it wasn't on the others either, Shelley.
Oh.
Just asking. Well, thank you, Dan.
The other ones had asked their amounts.
No, right, we asked them, or they mentioned it, right. Any other questions for Dan or comments? Thank you very much, Dan, for joining us tonight, and we appreciate.
You're welcome. I'm happy.
Yeah, we appreciate all the work you do for the community and for the schools, and we will certainly consider this seriously at our budget meetings.
Thanks. I appreciate actually that you guys are having people come speak, because that gives me a chance to tell you about what we do. Otherwise, you'd forget. So
no, it's
good.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had the 3 guests now were part of our scheduled members of the public, and we're moving on now to unscheduled members of the public. We do have a request that if any unscheduled member of the public would like to speak, this is from the BCT gentleman who is running the meeting tonight, technically. He's asking you to raise your hand with the feature you have on your computer, I guess. And then Nolan at BCTV will set you up that you can speak. So if you raise your hand, I will see you, and then Nolan will set you up one person at a time. Is there anybody who would like to speak?
Marion?
Yes.
Is that through the chat or just by physically raising your hand?
No, it's through the feature. It's through the chat feature.
Through the chat feature.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Anybody?
Do you know where?
Okay, we do have one person, and that's Jane Douglas, who had written a letter to us, and we actually just got that letter a while ago, so we put her on under this category. Is Jane Douglas here?
Hello, I'm trying to get the camera started.
Yeah.
It hasn't started.
Is Nolan there? No.
I just sent him a chat, or I sent it to the Brattleboro Community TV. Yeah. Should I send it to everyone? Yeah. Is that how we want it?
Well, we'd all like to see you when you're speaking. Unfortunately, I'm not the tech person. I don't know how to do this. Nolan?
He said he started the camera.
Oh, it says, he started your camera and it doesn't seem to be working. So.
Yeah, let me try starting it. See if I can make it.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Start my video. Yeah, I've only ever used Zoom for Tai Chi classes, so this is not familiar to me, this particular layout. Plus, which this is not my usual computer. My regular computer is dying, so this is just my little Chromebook. And I'm not sure whether it's.
Well, I
can't see anyone's picture now, so I'm not sure what's happened.
I think we can just proceed with the phone call aspect and just see what it's regarding, because I don't have any information on.
Yeah, Jane, we have a letter that you wrote, but since you're here, at least on the phone, could you please tell everybody what you're interested in right now?
I talked to Ken Esty several times over the last couple of years. I'm the trustee for the South Newfane Cemetery, and he, is a trustee for the cemetery up on the hill. And so we've talked a few times, and he asked me if I was interested in being on the Planning Commission. And as I've just recently retired, a couple of years ago now, I said, okay, I'd look in. So I've sat in on a couple of their meetings. The summer was kind of a lost cause, but they started up their meetings again in August. So I've sat in at a few meetings, and it's quite interesting. And I guess I'd be interested in seeing what I could do. I like this town. I've lived here for 30 years, and I'd hope maybe in some way I could help continue it to be a really great community to live in.
Well, Jane, I have the letter that Ken Esty, who is the chairperson of the Planning Commission, wrote to the Newfane Select Board. It's a short letter, and I'll read it so you can hear his opinion about everything. Dear Newfane Select Board, I am very pleased to announce that Jane Douglas of South Newfane has expressed her wish to join the Planning Commission. Jane has been attending meetings for the last 2 months. After carefully considering our work, she announced at her last meeting on October 8th that she would like to join the commission. Therefore, we submit her name to you so that you may be able to consider, and we trust, appoint Jane Douglas to the Planning Commission. We look forward to working with her, given her long-time commitment to Newfane. Her skills and her deliberative approach are already deeply appreciated by members of the Planning Commission. Sincerely, Ken Esty, Chair of the Planning Commission. So I think that's a very good recommendation. And normally the procedure is that if somebody recommends a person to be on the commission, that person comes and meets with the board. Unfortunately, we can't see you right now, but we certainly hear what you've been saying. And if any select board member has any specific question to ask Jane, perhaps we can make a decision right now tonight if, in terms of making a motion and voting for Jane to become part of the Planning Commission. It is a great commission. They do need some new people. We have a select board member who used to be on the Planning Commission, and that's Angela. And maybe Angela, you might want to say something or ask Jane.
I would just like to say thank you for stepping up. That's wonderful. And I think, any addition to the Planning Commission is wonderful.
And
Shelley?
certainly with the 30 years of being a resident here, I think it's really valuable.
Yes.
For the planning of the community into the future. So I think we have to, I would make a nomination to appoint.
Would you like to make a motion, Shelley?
Yeah, a motion to appoint Ms. Douglas to the Planning Commission.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, great. Is there anybody else who has on the select board who has a comment or question? Well, I think it's wonderful, Jane, that you're interested and that you want to contribute. I know that people on the Planning Commission are very committed people to the town and to the work that they do. And so I certainly would be happy to meet you, and I think it sounds great that you'd like to join. So can we have a vote, please? All those in favor of accepting Jane to be a participant and a member of the Planning Commission, please say aye.
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 Mike? Good. Okay. And myself too. So Jane, it looks like we're very happy to appoint you to the Planning Commission. We will let Ken know, and you can let him know also. And thank you, and all the best of luck with you on working with the town.
Well, thank you for your vote of support.
And Juanetta will send out a letter of appointment to Jane?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Jane.
Welcome aboard, Jane.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, is there any other person who is an unscheduled member of the public who would like to speak about any topic? I see some people. Aaron, do you want to say something since you're here? No.
Kate, Gary, Mike.
What?
Kate, Gary.
Hi,
Hi,
how's it going?
Hi, Aaron.
I'm fine. Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Hey. Well, I don't really have anything to say. I guess we've been working a little bit on the Newfane Village traffic safety project that
Yes.
as the Patty and Margot and I. So we just got a report from Mario at VTrans that just hit our inboxes today. So I haven't even really had a chance to look at it, but so I'm excited to check that out and see what kinds of recommendations they have, and I imagine we'll be in touch with the select board soon about that. So
That sounds great. That was pretty fast, right?
yeah, it was faster than they said, actually. Yeah, they turned it
Yeah.
around really quickly.
That's really wonderful.
Yeah.
I see that, I saw Margot's name here before. I don't see her right now. And I think Patty was here. But anyway, congratulations to you, Aaron, and to Margot and
Thanks.
Patty.
Yeah, it's
for
nice to
doing
see
a
you
great
guys.
job.
Yeah,
the
great
Zoom.
work.
I love the Zoom meeting. Thanks for doing these on Zoom. It's really nice to participate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Aaron. What?
Kate, Gary.
Okay, the next person who's raised her hand is Kate Garing. Welcome.
Hi there. Thanks, Marion. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say, on behalf of myself and on behalf of the West River Valley Mutual Aid, to thank you for holding this meeting or making it accessible by Zoom, and to encourage you to do that going forward. I'm happy to be able to join, and I've heard and we've been hearing from a lot of people who would like to be able to attend the meetings and can't right now otherwise. And just to make a request that you could post and circulate the link more broadly and a little earlier, perhaps in Front Porch Forum the week before, just to make sure people have it and know the meetings can be attended online.
Okay, I'm going to
Thanks
have
so much.
Juanetta respond to you because she's the one who is in charge of that. Juanetta?
So the agenda goes out 3 days or 72 hours prior to a meeting, but I always post on the 4 locations plus the website. So that's always available Friday, no later than 3 o'clock.
Can you state the locations, please?
The town clerk's office, WW Building Supply, Newfane Market, and the Williamsville South Newfane Post Office.
And the library
Okay.
too, right?
And the More Free Library is now
Yeah.
volunteered to post on their bulletin.
And then if you go on the Town of Newfane website, you'll see it there. You might have to look on the right and look for agenda for the next meeting, and then the address is there.
Right. Is it possible for the town to, say, post it on Front Porch Forum or on an electronic forum, since folks are not as much out and about? I mean, we could ask residents or citizens to do it, but just so that people see it directly.
The only problem with that is Carol doesn't work on Friday, so I would have to be able to do that. And I have not been accessing Front Page Forum, but it will be something that I will look into.
Thank you. Not to make more work for you, but if it's possible easily, I think a lot of people would be happy to see it that way. Thanks so much, Juanetta. I appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Kate, for joining us tonight. Okay, it looks like everybody who is here who wanted to speak has spoken, so we will move on to the next item of the agenda, and that is old business. And it's about the part-time data entry position. And as Winetta spoke in her minutes, she's gotten several responses for that position. Winetta, would you like to address that a little?
No, we'll wait for the listers in for you. I'll put the copies in their boxes.
Okay. The listers, Doris and Frank, Doris Neckel and Frank Saponsky, will be reviewing the resumes of the people who have applied. And then the select board will get together with them. And hopefully by our next meeting, which is Monday, November 2nd, we will have chosen a person to fill that position.
Marion?
Yes.
Excuse me. Has the deadline happened, or is there more days for submission of resumes?
No, it's today.
I believe it was today.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
for whatever reason we do not choose somebody, or there's not anybody who fits the description of what the job is about, we would have to post a new ad and extend, reapply. But right now the deadline was for today, and that's what it was in the paper. So we need to honor that deadline.
Yep. So I did see it in the paper, so that was good.
Yes, it was good.
And where else was that located? I forget where we decided.
Carol put it on Front Porch Forum the last two episodes, I believe.
Yeah.
And the website.
And the website and the Brattleboro Reformer.
Good.
Okay. The next item is Penner Road.
And that was the old business.
That's under old business.
That's where you wanted to go out and view the property to make a decision, informed decision.
Yeah. Just for the public information, we had a gentleman who lives on Penner Road call into our meeting 2 weeks ago via telephone, and he is requesting that at the end of the public road, there's a V shape, and each side of the V goes to a separate home, residence. And he who lives on one of those two roads is requesting that his road becomes a private road. It is now a town road. Is that correct, Jay?
Yes,
Jay?
correct. It's kind of a narrow driveway that goes up to his house. It's still a town road.
Yeah. And so I think the next step that we as select board members need to do is to go up and actually look at the site, because we got a whole packet of information from the listers in terms of what needs to be done by the select board. It's really amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there are deadlines for each step. And so, but the first thing really is to go and see the site in person. So if we could make a date, for a few of us to go up together or individually, and if Frank hopefully can be there to show us exactly what's happening. We need, what? Or Jay. We need to do that before November 2nd so we can move on to the next step.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll be in touch, all of us, and we'll make a date to go up and look at it.
What were you saying, Mike?
I said I went up and looked at it the other day.
Oh, you did? Good.
It'd be a benefit if the town did give it up. Because they're going to have a better turnaround, and like Jay said, it's just a driveway. It's really narrow. You go right by the corner of the guy's house or around by his barn. We're not landlocking anybody, so.
Yeah. I'm sort of shocked when I read all this information that we got. I just didn't realize that just to have a private road, there's so much that the select board has to do before we can come to an approval of it.
And I just wanted to make a note publicly that the gentleman was wanting to have more privacy because Google leads people up
Right.
into his residence, and it just should end.
Yes,
prior, yeah, to
Yeah.
entrance way.
yeah,
The road's
thanks,
probably
Bill.
not even 12 feet wide up to there.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a real benefit for the town if they could give it up. And, you know, like I said, the main thing is as long as you don't landlock other properties.
Right,
Let's see what's gonna happen, so.
exactly.
Now
So
you-
anyway, we will
Yeah.
definitely go up and see this before November 2nd. And so we'll be in touch. Okay, is that good, everybody?
Sounds great.
Okay, we are now on to new business. And we have a letter from a resident.
She's on the.
And she's
Oh,
on.
oh, where are you? There you
Maralee.
are. Marley. Hi, welcome. Would you like to read your letter or just describe what it is that you are requesting, please?
My husband and I recently bought a parcel of land on River Road. And it's only listed as 00 River Road. And it's a parcel that has 5 lots on it. And I'm seeking to get a 911 address for it.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning on building in the spring, and I'd like to have this in effect before then in case anybody gets hurt on the land. So my son went to the zoning officer, and they said that the little road that is on that 5-lot subdivision was never approved. It was called Horseshoe Lane, and I have to start over and get an approved name for it before he can get a 911 address. So I've listed on the letter there 3 options. Since I'm starting from scratch, I thought a new, shorter name would be better. Because I did check with one of the sign companies, and they said to have the old name, Horseshoe Lane, then it would have to be a sign with 2 posts on it because the name was so long.
Oh,
So at this time, I'm giving the board 3 of my preferences.
okay.
If they would like to choose either preference 1, 2, or 3 for me, and you could tell me how I could go ahead and finally get this approved through the zoning officer.
You want to read the names? They're very lovely.
Oh, thank you. I have either Hope Road, Faith Place, or Grace Circle.
Well, wouldn't it be better that you choose the name as long as it's not anywhere else in Newfane?
I would like the first one, Hope Road.
Okay. So is it in order? Your first choice is Hope Road. If you don't get that, you'd like to have Faith Place.
Yes, correct.
And your third choice is Grace Circle.
Yes, I tried Googling the names just to make sure they weren't used, and I couldn't find them, but I was not sure.
So you spoke to Merle, and Merle said you have to choose the name?
He said I have to have it approved through the board.
Okay, did he say anything else about it? You don't have to go to town clerk or anything?
I have no idea other than that I'm supposed to go to the select board first.
Yes, I read something about that. Let me see here.
Oh, and then once you choose a name, you have to go back to Merle for a zoning permit. Is that correct?
For the 911.
For the 911.
911, right?
Yes,
Yes, it's
yes,
for 911.
right. But he told me I have,
I make a motion, we go with Hope Road.
I'll second it.
okay, thank you.
I like the third one though.
Oh.
Circle.
I like them all. But if we should go with your first choice.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it would be nice if she could choose the one that she likes best. As
So-
long as, so, any further discussion? We can, do we have a second? Oh, you second that. So all those in favor of choosing Hope Road for Maralee, please say aye.
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 Okay. That can be your name for your road.
Thank you.
Yay.
So can you tell me what I have to do next?
Well, Juanetta was just saying that apparently you're going to get in touch with Merle, the
Okay.
zoning commission, and go back and see him, and then he will take care of the 911 and whatever it was.
He's in the office Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 4:30. You can contact him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Well, congratulations.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And welcome to Newfane.
Thank you.
And I love River Road. It's my favorite place to walk with my dog. It's a gorgeous place.
It is beautiful. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Where are we? New business. So you know what? I think we are all done for the evening because after this we go into correspondence. So I think we're going to say good night to everybody. Please be safe.
You want to address the Samantha already?
Don't we have correspondence to go through?
We should do correspondence and then
Sorry.
say goodnight
You
to
know what?
everyone.
Yes, excuse me. I was hoping I could get through a meeting without making a mistake. Just moving right along. Okay, we have
Correspondence.
correspondence. We have Angela and Shelley who keep me on the right track here. It's like, oh God.
It's all right.
Okay. Juanetta, you haven't?
Yeah, 'cause I think we have to approve some zoning, the proposed fees for zoning.
Okay,
That's what it says.
okay, here. Who is this one?
That one's part of Angela's.
Oh, that's Angela's, yeah.
So it's,
This one?
this is what Merle's.
Do you want me to do mine while she organizes your papers?
No, I wanted you to be last tonight. The good things about candy and chocolate go last. Okay. There's a letter from the zoning commissioner, Merle, and it's written to the Newfane Select Board. And the subject is proposed increase in zoning permit fees. I would like to submit a proposal for increasing the zoning permit fees for the town of Newfane. I have reviewed the fee structure of surround towns, Dover, Marlborough, and Dummerston, to compare their fee structure with Newfane's. Newfane has had one of the simplest fee structures of all surrounding towns. My proposal is basically to keep our fee structure, but increase the amounts of each category. Newfane has not increased these fees in over 8 years. The purpose of the proposed increase is to take most of the burden off of local taxpayers. I would be interested in your feedback on this matter. I would think that a January 1st, 2021 rollout of the new fees would work. And that's from Merle
And he'll address those.
on November 2nd.
November 16th.
Oh, okay. So Merle is going to be present at the November 16th Select Board meeting. That's Monday, November 16th. He will be with us to discuss all of this in person.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I had some questions for him. I couldn't understand what fees were new on it.
Okay, well, he'll explain everything.
Okay.
I don't know if you got his letter. Did
Yeah,
you?
I have the packet. I just couldn't tell
Okay.
the
Yeah.
increases.
Well, I'm very happy that he's coming to the meeting because first of all, a lot of people probably don't even know him or have ever met him. And
Right.
secondly, he has a very important job. He sits here very quietly, but he does a lot of work for the town, and we need to have him meet with everybody in person via Zoom. So that's on November 2nd.
16th.
16th, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay.
1 second. Where did you put the other ones, Lynetta? 1 second, please. Oh, Samantha. Okay. Shelley, do you have a copy of the correspondence? Would you like to read a letter from Samantha Kilmaurray?
Samantha, yes.
Would you like to read it?
Sure. Let me get some light on the subject here.
Okay, thank you.
This was sent on October 5th to the Newfane board. Subject was about the statement condemning racism and intimidation. Greetings, still waiting for a response. On Wednesday, September 30th, 2020 at 7:19, Samantha Kilmaurray wrote to Juanetta and Marion. I want to thank the SB Select Board for unanimously voting to adopt the statement to condemn the racist graffiti in Newfane in late July. I would like to know what the next step for the SB is. Will the statement be posted or announced? Does the SB plan on having a press conference to read the statement? There are many ways to approach this, and if you all would like to talk further about it, please feel free to contact me, Sam Kilmaurray, via email or phone call. The West River Valley Mutual Aid Group has been working hard since spring to help our neighbors get through this pandemic. We are happy to add this to the list of accomplishments and happy that the town of Newfane has stepped up to help its most vulnerable community members feel safe and valued. We hope to work towards providing the greater community, schools, hospital, police, and town employees with diversity and anti-bias training. We will keep you posted on our progress. Thank you again, and please let me know what the next steps are. Chair Sam Kilmaurray. And that's it.
Yeah, and I do have to say that at the bottom of her letter, she wrote to Juanetta saying that she did not have my email address.
Right.
So I personally have not gotten this letter, even though it was addressed to me also. But Juanetta did give me a copy of it.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure. I guess Samantha is a member of the community, a resident?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not really sure who she's representing or just herself.
I think it would be appropriate to invite her to one of our meetings so that she can help us to figure out where to go to next.
Well, I think we've already made a statement, and it's really up to the select board as to moving forward on it.
Well, I think what I wanted to say about this, and so Shelley and Angela had some opinion, and I would say that what Select Board has done in the past with anyone who would like to have something happen or something to create for the town of Newfane, and they have ideas of either doing it on a personal level or forming committees, that that when they are very clear of what they would like to do and ask the Select Board to do, that they would make an appointment to come, as Angela said, come to the meeting prepared to describe what they would like to do, if it's a committee, what the committee would like to have happen, and then present it to the board. And then it is up to the board to approve it or not approve it. But the select board themselves, ourselves, do not make up committees for subjects. We are here to work with the residents of Newfane. And if people would like to do something, for example, when we had the group of Williamsville residents being very concerned about speeding on the Dover Road, they created a group, not a committee, but they had a group of people who came to the select board and requested that they could go out in public and make their project public, which they did. They had some meetings at Williamsville Hall. They came to the select board several times to talk about their progress. They went to Jay Wilson and got support from the road commissioner and road foreman. But we ourselves, the select board, did not create this group or committee. We just approved it. And so that would be the procedure that I would recommend. Does anybody else on the select board have a thought about that?
Oh, I think, at the meeting when we talked about it and we went along with the program, the paragraphs and stuff they wanted us to review, and we discussed it and we did do it, and it has been publicized. I think the selectmen went about as far as we could go. And the only other thing I wanted to add to this is like I told you guys before, because they said, that we'd take action against anybody, like bullying and all that. Well, it's, there's other people who can deal with that. But as far as town property goes, I think if anybody defaces any of our property by painting on roads, bridges, signs, buildings, equipment, we will go after them and prosecute them to the fullest. I mean, I don't think we need people painting all over the roads. I don't think we need them painting on the bridges, by the buildings, or anything that's owned by the town. Mm-hmm. What happens on public property, it happens on public property, but we can control anything like that. I'd like to make it, I've said it now for the last 2 meetings, I would like to see that we do adopt something like that, that is anything of our property can't be defaced by painting all over it.
Okay, thank you, Mike, for that. That's something that we need to discuss and see if we can approve that and add that to the statement or make a separate statement. One of the things.
Well, can we make a motion to do that just as a select board at this point?
Sure. If you make a motion.
I did.
Do you want to make a motion, Shelley?
I think Mike did.
Excuse me?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Oh, Mike, much. Okay. Who seconded? Angela?
I'll
or Shelley?
it.
Okay. Any further discussion about that? Okay. So, Mike, can you condense the motion?
Yeah, it's anybody caught destroying any town property by writing or painting or anything, which includes our roads, our bridges, our signs, any equipment and any buildings, we will go after them and prosecute them, and whatever it takes to get it taken care of.
I don't know about being caught, but if somebody does it, we'll investigate it. It's not just if they get caught.
If we catch up to them, then they either got to go out. I mean, that's one of the things I brought up years ago when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Used to go out and burn out on roads. And I remember one time the cop made one of the guys get out there with a brush and wipe it off the road,
Right.
So if you get somebody out there painting on it and you have to make them go remove it, you might not do it again,
Exactly.
I mean, I know it just creates problems when they write something. There's always going to be somebody's got another opinion about it, and they're going to come back and change it, and then all of a sudden it goes into a big pissing match. So I guess the best thing is don't do it. So that's what I say. We can control what they put on our properties. We can't control what goes on other people's properties, and I think we should.
Or even the state roadways.
Well, no, we can't. We don't have no control over Route 30.
Right.
That's not ours. But
No, I know.
On our own highways and all that, we can.
On the town roads that you're talking
You know,
about.
the buildings, trucks, signs, you know, they painted all of the signs. I mean, same thing there. It's whatever, you know, it's any defacing any town properties,
Bridges.
everything.
Yeah. Would you like to take a vote? All those in favor of accepting Mike's motion, please say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, the ayes have it, and your motion is accepted, and Winetta will write it up. And Samantha, I would just like to say to you that you asked in your letter, you said, does the select board plan on having a press conference to read the statement? There was a whole article, front page, Brattleboro Reformer article in big letters stating that we had accepted the statement that the residents of Newfane, who had signed a letter, that we approved that. So that has been in the press already, and it's been announced. Okay, so now we are finished with that, and we go on to Angela, who has some exciting announcements to make.
Yay!
It has come to my attention, and several residents have asked me what the select board is thinking about Halloween and trick-or-treating for the children of our town this year. And I thought it was important to bring it up in our meeting that we discuss having trick-or-treating still occur. These poor children have lost so much with COVID, and I think that with parents and family members helping to make things safer for their children and the community members doing their part, that trick-or-treating can still occur. There's a Vermont Department of Health kind of guideline, and I'll just read the key points from that. That Halloween is coming and you can still celebrate safely. Halloween may look a little different this year, but we can still find ways to celebrate safely. Please be sure to stay home if you or anyone in your family is sick. Making these 3 things a part of your Halloween plans will make everyone safer. 6-foot spaces. Keep a 6-foot distance between your family and other people who don't live in your household. Bring a flashlight so you're visible in the dark. You can get creative if you're giving out candy. If you need ideas, have bags ready to grab on your front steps or slide the treats down a candy slide. Also, masks on faces. Make sure you and your family are wearing a face mask or covering when you go out. Find a fun way to make it a part of your costume. But don't wear a costume mask over your face mask, which can make it harder to breathe. The third is uncrowded places. Keep your group small and skip crowded indoor parties. If you're trick-or-treating and one street or neighborhood seems too busy, move on to the next one. I also saw on Facebook from the town of Brattleboro some wonderful guidelines too, which include some of that information, but as a friendly reminder to families that people that are participating in trick-or-treating generally have their front porch lights on, and that's a house you should go to. If there's no front porch light on, avoid that house and move on to the next one. But I think it's important for kids to have something fun to do, and I think parents can make sure that their kids are all safe so we can participate in Halloween.
Angela, can you tell everybody the time that everybody starts coming out, and then when we can finish for the evening? Because that's always a little...
The general trick-or-treating time I've noticed is generally between 5 and 9. That's a good time for youngsters to go out and have a good time. Some like to stay out a little later, the older kids always. But 5 to 9 is a good time to go trick-or-treating.
Okay.
So Marion,
yes,
I make a recommendation that we put this up on our website, and if possible, that it goes onto Front Porch for the town of Newfane so that people are aware of it.
Yes, post the Vermont Department of Health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Post and include that trick-or-treating is recommended between 5 and 9, and just remind everybody to be safe.
Okay.
And I'm going to put it on my personal Facebook page as well.
Okay, Winetta, can you do that? Actually, you know what would be good? Oh, if we could, I mean, I could do it for you. We could post it at the places where you post your minutes.
Yep, those. Yeah, that would be great.
It should be everywhere that we can, so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
I actually have a personal, different point of view, Angela.
What's that?
I have a different experience about the time. I know it starts at 5, but I say around by 8 o'clock, mostly nobody's there anymore.
Well, Halloween's on a Saturday, Marion, so
It is?
it's not on a school night this year.
Okay.
you can turn your light off at
Yeah,
8.
when you're done, turn your light off. That's a good, you know, most people follow that rule.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, thank you. You know, it's good news because I had no idea if we were going to do that this year or not.
I
So
hope the weather's good.
I do too. Our Newfane kiddies need something fun to do.
Yeah, that it's not raining or snowing.
right.
True.
Or both.
Okay, and that's on October 31st.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat. So everybody, we all wish you health and safety. Be careful, particularly now that it's dark, walking around on the streets. When does hunting season start?
Bow seasons right now.
Happening.
So just be careful.
Stay out of the woods.
Yeah.
Let's all be safe and happy and keep smiling throughout all of this.
Exactly. Okay, have a good night, everybody.
I'll be over in 5 for pay orders.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.